Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Are you tired of all those confusing checking account options? The Kansas Teachers Community Credit Union makes your choice simple. We only have one option. Our checking account has no monthly fees. If you maintain a $2,000 minimum balance, we pay interest. Get the credit union advantage of 416 North Broadway or call 620-231-5719 for more information. Deposits are federally insured by NCAA up to $250,000.
Now back to Dragon football. Now back to Dragon football.
A true test of a great insurance agency comes with a true test of a great insurance agency comes with a true test of a great insurance agency comes with.
Is it scroll now?
No, she.
Welcome back to Olathe, Kansas, I guess. Maybe. We are getting set for kickoff of tonight's high school football matchup between the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons and the Olathe East Hawks. We apologize for the coach's interview from last week. As you know, Pittsburgh handled Ulysses pretty well last week, or 2 weeks ago, and lost last week to Mill Valley, so not a nearly 90% completion rate for Ty Rourke, but quite a different story last week against Mill Valley, obvious. I bring you in here. The Dragons didn't come ready to play from the get-go, turned the ball over a lot, committed lots of penalties, some that they're going to have to be sure and avoid here tonight on the road against this Olathe East squad that's had their lumps this season, but they look pretty hungry here tonight. And we're going to try and throw a lot of bodies at the Dragons.
Well, Josh, it's a new game every week. And so, for example, me saying that is that Mill Valley team got walloped by that Blue Valley North team. That Pittsburgh High had a nail-biter and won that game. So they thought, oh, hey, well, if they blew them out, then we're going to do the same thing. And that's not happening. And so it's an every given week that you have to come in prepared for that matchup. And I think the Purple Dragons just weren't ready for that. They came in looking like they wanted to cruise, and they kind of paid for it. They paid for it hard as they scored towards the end of the game, and so they didn't really score when it mattered, and that kind of really hurt them. And so this offense was a key struggle point for this game, for this team last week, as they could not stay on the field, which would absolutely hurt the Purple Dragon defense, who we know that is very talented and can stop almost any team in the country. So that's going to be the case for this game tonight. Is the Purple Dragons offense has to do their job. Brandis Evans and Freeman have to get that running game going. They have to do it because you can't throw the ball every single down. It's just going to be a punt and 3 and out almost every single time.
Last week, the rushing yards didn't come easy for the Purple Dragons against that Mill Valley front line, and it all starts up front, and the Dragons on both sides of the ball just did not win the battle in the trenches. Mill Valley spent a lot of time in the first half trying to get around the edge, but then we saw the adjustment at halftime, and Eddie Lomchek talked about it during the local show earlier this week, where they made the adjustment at halftime and started running between the tackles. Pittsburgh High couldn't stop it, and that's when you just kind of knew. Well, I mean, the pick six before halftime was a bad turn of events for the Dragons, but when Mill Valley came out in the second half and just ran the ball between the tackles, jammed it down their throat for a touchdown, it was kind of that let you know this game's over.
Yeah, Josh,
and Pittsburgh High never really recovered after that.
They kind of did what they wanted, and so the other bad part about that is you got 8 in the box jamming it outside. Well, you have man defense or cover 3 defense on the outside, and so what that happens is you have your corners backed off, and that'll leave you the 3-yard outs or the 5-yard hitches, and that's easy catches for the wide receivers to make plays. And so the Purple Dragons were just beat up on offense, defense, and even special teams itself. And, one thing that we talked about a lot last week is you saw that defense. They were huffing and puffing. They were just exhausted. And I know some of those kids play on both sides of the ball.
They spent the entire game on the field pretty much.
It wore them out. And, and then finally the last important thing for this Purple Dragon team tonight is discipline. Penalties was absolutely horrible for them last week. They could not – they were undisciplined. They had too many false starts. They
couldn't get out of their own way.
Right. And then – the other thing is Coach Nicholson has had to burn multiple timeouts just to get the play call in. That is one thing that cannot happen tonight.
Yeah, personnel issues. I mean, we really saw it all last week.
Yeah.
But, you got to have a short memory. They flushed that one, come out here this week against a another opponent from the KC metro area. Next week they host DeSoto, and then it's on to the playoffs. So Dragons need to reset here and get back on the positive side of the win-loss column.
Yeah.
As they get kind of ready and prepared for this postseason run.
Yeah, and that's the good thing is, they kind of had that little mishap 2 games before the end of the season, so they have some time to fix things up and get things going. And so for the coin toss, Olathe East actually won the toss. They elected to defer, and so the Purple Dragons will lead this thing off to start the game.
Spencer Gross ready to kick it away. 5'10", 145-pound senior. He does both kicking duties, punting and place kicking. Kicks this one away. Brett Freeman's going to field it at the 11-yard line for the Dragons and hit immediately and brought down at the 20 as he tried to make a move but not quick enough. And the Dragons will take over first down and 10 at their own 20.
All right, Josh, so here's our chance to see what this Pittsburgh offense wants to do right off the bat, and this is the most important thing, is the first drive. You want to get these guys going, get your defense motivated that you got a score on the board, so we'll see what kind of offense Coach Nicholson has planned here against the Hawks.
Dragons come out, single back in the backfield. Nope, high formation behind Rourke. Quick toss out to Freeman, makes a man miss in the backfield, brought down for a loss at about the 18-yard line as Brett Freeman makes one man miss, but he had to dodge about 3 in the backfield, and the Dragons got to clean things up on that line of scrimmage. We saw it last week with Mill Valley. We see it early here. Defensive pressure coming right through that line, and difficult to run a toss sweep when nobody gets a block.
Yeah, that's what happens when you face these teams in the Kansas City metro area. Is they have some hogs up front. As you see, it's a 3-4 defense by this Hawk defense.
High formation again for the Dragons. They'll fake the toss. Here's the handoff to Brandis Evans going back the other way across the 30, 35, 40. He's a foot race across the 50, 45, 40. Going to get tracked down from behind and brought down at the Hawk 27-yard line.
Tell you what, you got to give credit to Brandis Evans in the play call. How about the second effort by Jordan Epting to catch down Evans? You know Evans is not a fullback, Josh. He's a speed guy. He was gone right there.
He was gone.
Yeah, and so great
but not
job.
Gone enough. They caught him from behind. And they'll set the Dragons up first down and 10 at the Olathe East 27.
An absolute perfect play call, faking the toss to the same play and then faking it back to the fullback dive.
55 yards on that running play. And here's Dylan Jordan unable to get around the corner on the outside as the Dragons keep trying to get around that corner here on the near side. It was the strong side of the field for them. And Jordan's going to lose a yard on the play.
So just like that, they're already inside the 30-yard line of the opposing team. Purple Dragons looking to take advantage of this, because they're going to need to. This offense has been struggling the past couple of weeks in general. I know they played the game a couple weeks ago. They played really well, but last week was a real struggle for them.
High formation again. Handoff's going to go to Evans right up the gut, and he's going to pick up about 2 yards. It's going to set up a third down and long here for the Dragons, their first passing situation of the evening.
This is a big, important passing situation because last week we saw anytime Rourke was throwing the ball, you and I kind of mentioned this during the week, is Rourke was kind of staring down his receivers, and so that was an easy play for these corners to make plays and intercept the ball. That's why there were a couple last week.
Austin into the game as a slot receiver. Now the Dragons will take a timeout.
And there it is. We kind of talked about that right before the game. And
personnel again.
They
weren't lined up right. Something was wrong there. Coach Nick's not happy about it.
Yeah.
And the Dragons burned their first timeout with 9:48 left to play in the first quarter. But this is a big third down for Pittsburgh High here, Avi, and not one that you want to have the wrong play. You got to make sure everything's straight. And so that's what the coaching staff's trying to do right now. But, man, after that big run play, the offense just kind of stalled here, and now have to burn a timeout because of a miscommunication. We're not really sure, but not where you want to use your timeout.
Yeah, and, you know, I keep referring to last week, but third down situations, you saw a lot of dink and dunk screen plays and whatnot to Freeman. And then Roark really didn't have a lot of time. He was under pressure quite a bit, and so that's going to be an important thing here. The left side of the field's pretty. It's got the more grass on that side, so you'll probably see Freeman do the rollout to the left. He's got his trips, a very common play that they run a lot.
Trips to the far side. Here goes Roark again, rolling out far side. Throws it out there, tipped away at the last minute. Good play on the outside. I think that was Jordan Eptig on the coverage. Hard to tell with those white numbers on the orange jersey.
Yeah. So that's going to be 4th down. It's not punting situation. It's not field goal situation. So this is a go for it.
No man's land.
Play. Yeah.
So Dragons maybe thinking they were in 2-down territory there anyway. Not anymore. They're in 1-down territory. So you got to pick up 8 yards here on 4th down.
Look out. Oh.
Pass got away from Roark, kind of fluttered in the air.
Yeah, and that time he really couldn't even see his receiver. I think he was.
It was Brett Weimers.
He was looking for Weimers, but the problem was there was a hawk in his face. And I'm not talking about a bird, an actual player, but there was a hawk in his face, and he had nowhere to go, so he lobbed it up. So kind of the best idea for Roark. Unfortunately, Weimers just didn't know. And Weimers was there, too. That was the downfall to that, is he had a chance to get a first down.
Got some pressure that time. Now Olathe East with the ball. In at quarterback, Hunter Thomas, the 6'2", 210-pound senior, in the gun. He'll hand it off up the gut. Ball's out.
Ball's on the ground.
And the Dragons have it.
Yeah. Well,
one play from scrimmage, a fumble recovered by Pittsburgh High, and they got some new life here after their first drive. Stalled after a turnover on downs.
So it literally looks like they're going to get the ball right back where they had it, So fresh new set of downs, and this has got to be a good sight here for the Dragons offense because this defense is giving them more chances to score. But now this offense has to execute.
So Roark lines up in the gun. Lone back in the backfield with him is Evans. 2 wide receivers off to the far side. Dylan Jordan, lone receiver to the near side. He's going to go in motion. They'll fake the handoff to Jordan on the end around. Roark will keep it himself, and he'll take it up to the 21-yard line. A gain of about, we'll call it 6 on the play.
Doing the official stats today, Josh? Or?
Highly unofficial.
Second and 4. You're seeing the Purple Dragons now starting to spread the field out a little bit, almost getting into the red zone as they either do the power I or they'll split the trips out to the left, and there's dual left, and then a running back, Evans, right to his left.
There's the handoff to Evans. Gets a little room on the inside. Cuts it inside the 15 and brought down at about the 14-yard line. It'll be enough for a first down.
Yep, move the chains.
Gain of about 7 on the play for Evans. That takes his average down a little bit, though, Avi. He had a carry for 55 yards and then one for 1 yard and one for 7 yards. So coming back down to earth here. I formation now. Lone wide receiver up to the near side, and there's a whistle before the snap. Flags down. It looks like it's going to be a legal procedure. Oh, no, it's offsides against Olathe East.
Oh, wow.
Lined up in the neutral zone.
That's a free 5 right there.
I didn't see any pre-snap motion, so he must have been in the neutral zone when he lined up.
Well, it's a free 5 for the Dragon offense. That just inches them closer and closer to the end zone, as they still have a chance to get a first down there. The first down will be about the 4-yard line.
I formation again. Here's a quick toss to Dylan Jordan. Tries to cut it up inside. Bounces off one tackle.
Got nowhere to go.
Now trying to fight forward. Stays on his feet. And he's going to lose yards on this one out to about the 13-yard line. If he'd have gone down with first contact, he'd only lost a yard. Kept fighting.
6 Olathe East players right there to make the tackle.
Yeah, and, I guess he didn't get forward progress.
I think they're waving off a flag there.
Yeah.
Waving off a flag, and move this thing up to a second and about 7.
So far, 3 carries, -1 yard for Dylan Jordan, carrying the ball tonight. Shotgun now. Hand off to Brandis Evans going far side. Tries to get around the corner, pushes a man, gets down to about the 6-yard line before being ridden out of bounds by 3 orange jerseys.
I think he's still short, though. It'll be a 3rd and about 3.
Yep, needed to reach just inside the 5-yard line to pick up the first. He is just inside the 8, so yeah, 3rd down and 3.
And one thing that they're doing with Evans is instead of running either the sweep plays with the blockers, they're actually doing a delay and a counter handoff, so they're actually going to the backside. That's how Evans has got most of his yards tonight so far.
About 9 yards on the play that time for Evans. Here's the I formation again, 2 tight ends set.
I give it to him.
They'll give it to him right up the gut.
Yeah, I don't know if he got it.
He did not get it.
Yeah. That's going to be close and not even an option here. They're going to bring out the kicking unit.
4th and 1. That's a 3rd and 3 right up the gut like that. Pretty conservative.
I don't even think he got a yard there, Josh, to be honest with you. Maybe
yeah,
one.
It was a pretty favorable spot.
But regardless, it's time to kick a field goal. We'll see if the Dragons can get on the board first.
Kick is up, and it is barely.
I think that's left. Yeah,
no.
That's left.
No good. The defense holds for Olathe East. And, you know, one of these things is you have a team that's had a rough season, and they've lost ball games, but the longer you let them hang around, the more they get into it, the more this crowd gets into it, it turns into a game. Dragon defense back out on the field. Olathe East take over 1st and 10, their own 20.
Well, and if you're the Hawks here, your first play doesn't want to be like your last drive, a fumble. You want to get this offense going. So we're seeing a spread offense by them. So probably seeing a lot of runs up through the tackles, which was a weak point in last week's game for the Purple Dragons in the second half.
Shotgun for Hunter Thomas.
Double shift.
They're going to pass it outside. Catch is made by Ray Lewis. Makes the first man miss, but then taken down at about the 24-yard line, a gain of 4 on the play.
It's just making them go make a tackle outside, one-on-one tackling. I believe it was Jordan out there that made the tackle. It's a good gain, about 5 though.
Bring up a 2nd down and 5 at about the 25-yard line. Kind of got a wing set up here. Now he'll line up in the pistol.
Put everybody in motion.
Handoff right up the gut. They're going to be close to first down yardage, a couple yards shy at about the 28-yard line. That's also a favorable spot if we're going by the far side official there. Yeah, that's real favorable. So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 1.
That's a critical stop here for the Purple Dragons already. So their offense had 2 chances to score, and they haven't been able to do anything with it.
Morel Fountain on the carry. Fountain will get it again, and he'll have the first down by a couple of yards.
Move the chains, start the clock on the whistle. You can start to see this Olathe East team kind of like what they're seeing so far.
Now we got an I formation with a wing back. First man through is going to get the ball. And that is Fountain. He's going to be stopped for a short gain, less than a yard.
Ball carrier number 30.
I'm sorry, that was Malik Washington, number 30, not number 20, carrying through there for the 1-yard gain. 2nd down and 9 now. Again, I formation, this time the wing back over on the far side. Here's a quick toss going out to Fountain. He's wrapped up and brought down in the backfield for a big loss on the play. As Dragons break through that time. Trenton Austin with the penetration and able to hang on to the jersey and come up with the big loss. They call that a loss of 1.
I guess they gave him the forward progress.
Yeah, they didn't give Dylan Jordan the forward progress.
And so you can spot Trenton Austin out of the crowd with the pink sleeve that he's wearing for the month of October. But 3rd down and 11 to go, and they're just packing the inside.
First man through, nope. Quarterback keeps it, and it's going to gain about 3 or 4 yards, but it's going to be a punting situation, you would think, here for Olathe East.
Yeah, kind of interested in that play call there. You'd figure it'd be a passing attempt, or
yeah.
As far as I can tell, I don't know if wind is a factor, so I'm not sure if they just wanted to run that thing.
Well, it's the battle of who can be more conservative.
Yeah, I guess so.
Quarterback keeper didn't net the 11 yards they needed. There's a fumbled snap on the punt, almost blocked. Punters run into, there's the flag. And this one's going to roll, doesn't matter where they spot it, because we're going to have a roughing the punter penalty on the Dragons. Their first penalty of the ball game. It's a big one because it keeps the defense out on the field.
Yep. It's going to be a personal foul roughing the punter. If it was running into the kicker, it'd just be a 5-yard
yeah, he
penalty.
rolled up under his legs, and you can't do that.
So that's a free 15, and that's an automatic first down.
Yep. And it wasn't blocked into him.
Well.
Oh, running into the kicker for 5 yards, so it's still
okay.
4th down.
So it'll just be a 4th and 2 instead of a 4th and 5, or 4th and 7. And so kind of.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the offense come back out here.
You might. And then even tell you the truth, too, that's kind of a good play as well for Olathe, because that wasn't really the best of punts either.
Nope.
And it looks
here comes
like
the
offense. Yeah. It's going to be a little interesting here now, 4th down.
Got a single back and a wing back, puts the wing back in motion to the far side. Now brings him back to the near side.
We're just trying to get a hard count here.
And right back into the wing formation. Now 2 wing backs. Now we're going to motion him again.
But a false start, though.
And
false
legal
start.
procedure.
They had a receiver on the other side there. He switched feet, which you can't do because he was kind of antsy on that. Actually, no, it's a timeout. I could have sworn I saw some movement up there, but
yeah, must have got the timeout called before the penalty.
Well, I guess it looked like they were just trying to get the hard count, and they didn't get it, so they're just burning a timeout and just seeing if this Dragon defense was disciplined enough. And
we saw them jump off sides a few times last week.
Yeah.
But, that was kind of later in the game. They were trying to make something happen, desperation time. But they jumped off sides quite a bit last week, and if Olathe East watched the film on that game, they thought, well, maybe we can hard count these guys.
Catch them off guard.
Yeah. But now the punting unit back out on the field.
Spencer Graz will be the one to kick it. And last time it was a botch snap. He actually barely got it off as he had a couple Dragons coming at him full speed. So we'll see if he can get this off. And like I said, he got that punt to about the 40-yard line by just kicking it off barely. So we'll see if he can get a better one than he did the one before.
Let's see if the Dragons a little less aggressive on the block this time. Much less aggressive.
Way better punt as well. That's to about the 24, 23.
That's where the Dragons will take over. First down and 10. Their own 23. The offense is stalled out.
Both on the other side
Once
of the field.
on a turnover on downs, the other time a missed field goal following a fumble on Olathe East's first play from scrimmage. And Dragons unable to capitalize on either one of those possessions inside opposing territory. Now they start out at their own 23. First drive began at their own 20. Fake the handoff to Evans. Quick toss out to Freeman. Fields it out across the 20, 25, and runs out of bounds at about the 26.
He had nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. A lot of orange jerseys out in front of him, and he decided to just take it out of bounds.
And it's really looking like this Dragon offense cannot get to the outside unless it's a delayed play, as they've tried multiple times now to get the sweeps and the tosses, and nothing's going. So it looks like Olathe East is really just trying to test these guys to try to get it run up the middle.
Really, the only time they've gone to the outside is when they run that counter to Brandis Evans. I formation again for the Dragons.
There's a reverse.
There's a reverse coming back the other way.
Oh, Shea Mankin.
Yeah. Mankin, we usually call his name on the defensive side of the ball.
How about that?
Little trickeration. Gets the Dragons a first down and 10 at the Olathe East 45-yard line, a gain of about 20 on the play for Mankin.
Bet you can't say that 3 times fast.
I can't say it once, regular speed.
And that's been the most positive plays so far in this quarter for the Purple Dragons, Josh, is that's the delayed or the backside reverse plays.
The 55-yard run by Evans.
Evans was a delayed as well.
Pretty good. High formation, 2 wide receivers off to the far side.
Fake
the handoff. Now looking to pass is Rourke. He'll send it downfield. It's caught. And I think it was Trenton Austin. Nope. It's Dennis Hikus with the catch.
It's first down. It's a good job by Roark as well, as he had pressure coming at him, and so he had to step up into the pocket and make the throw.
A sure-handed catch there by Hikus, because I thought he was throwing further down the field, and Hikus just snagged that one. First down and 10 for the Dragons at the 42 of Olathe East. Now Rourke will keep it himself, makes a man miss in the backfield, brought down at the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him about a yard on the carry.
2nd and 9. And here we go again. Purple Dragons on the other side of the 50. 0 for 2 so far. Back to the eye.
Yep. Rourke under center. Here's the snap. Drops back to pass. Looking downfield. He's going to air this one out. Up for grabs. And there's pass interference against Olathe East. And they have a defensive back collision out there. And they're both a little slow. Gingerly getting up. Pass is intended for Dylan White.
Rourke got kind of lucky there because he actually had White with the post route. He could have threw that in front of him.
Yeah, he threw it a little bit behind him.
Yeah.
It looked to me from here like it was up for grabs.
And it was definitely behind him, and it's a good call there as well, as both defenders were trying to take White out of the play before he can even jump up and try to attempt it. So now it'll be a 1st and 10.
And to White's credit, he did a good job of selling that.
Yeah.
Let me dramatically interpret that I'm being held. Pistol formation now for Rourke. Fakes the handoff to Evans. Quick pass to the outside. This is Brett Wiemers. Across the 20, down to about the 10-yard line before being ridden down. Now bring up the 1st and goal for the Dragons. They've been here before. Goose egg so far.
It's a good play call, though. I like how they did that.
Yeah, there wasn't much time. I mean, the defender was right there on Rourke. There was no more time to hang on to the ball for him.
That's an RPO play right there, Josh, as he had the choice to give it off for a handoff. If not, it was a bubble route, and that's exactly the right decision there. As no one was on Wiemers as they ran a deep coverage.
Offset eye in the backfield behind Rourke now. Here's the snap. They'll run option to far side. Rourke will keep it himself across the 5 down to about the 1-yard line.
A little bit short here. Clock will keep ticking, though, about 47 seconds. So this Purple Dragon team does have about 2 plays here before the end of the first quarter. So they definitely have enough time to score before the quarter ends.
1st and goal from the 1.
You know, the Dragons like to punch this one in before the end of the first quarter.
This looks like a little bit of a fullback dive option here for Evans.
2 tight end set. 1 wide receiver. And Rourke keeps it himself.
And he's in. Got to be in.
No signal yet. There it is. Okay. That was the quickest touchdown signal I've ever seen in my life. But Ty Rourke scores from 1 yard out to give the Dragons a 6-0 lead, pending the extra point, as they finally cash one in after 3 trips into the red zone into the first quarter. So they've been moving the ball. This is the first time they've lit the lamp tonight. There's the extra point attempt. Kick is up. And it's good. Dragons lead at 7-0. 15 seconds left to play first quarter. We'll step away for 30 seconds, and we'll be back. You're listening to Pittsburgh High School Purple Dragon Football on ESPN 100.7 and streaming live on ESPN1007.com. Welcome back to Olathe, Kansas. Purple Dragons jump out on top after a 1-yard touchdown run by Ty Rourke. They lead at 7-0 over the Olathe East Hawks. We're in the waning seconds of the first quarter. Probably have time for this kickoff, maybe one more play.
Yeah.
Unless there's some craziness that occurs here.
I mean, look at the formation of the kickoff.
Yeah. Chaos.
Bunch left, bunch right.
This is like something that's either going to work great or not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Dragons down. Field the kick. Man gets loose across the 40, 45. And ridden out of bounds at midfield. Might want to scrap that one. Olathe East will have the ball near midfield to start their third drive of the ball game. And they'll place it at the Dragon 48-yard line.
So just
Well, that
like,
got the crowd back into it.
Yeah, to say just like that, other side of the 50 for the Hawks.
7 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Hawks line up in a high formation with a wing back.
Right up the middle.
Right up the middle with the tailback.
That'll do it.
That's Morel Fountain. Picks up about 8 yards on the carry, and that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Dragons lead at 7-0. We'll step away for 1 minute. We'll be back for the second quarter of action from here in Olathe, Kansas. You're listening to Purple Dragon Football on ESPN 100.7 and streaming live on ESPN1007.com. Back to pass on first down, broken up at the last minute. Looked like they were going to get that one to go, but Dylan White and Joel Kafka converged, or I'm sorry, Dylan White and Brett Weimers converged on the coverage for the Dragons that time. Knocked that one away from the intended receiver, Nate Matlack, as Hunter Thomas will fake end around pass attempt there, and it'll bring up a third down and about 3 for Olathe East. I think we're going to see Morel Fountain, the tailback here. I'm not a break out my crystal ball, but they've been getting good yards between the tackles. There's Fountain again, and he's got it.
He's got it, yep.
Up to about the Dragon 35-yard line. And I think something may have been exposed by Mill Valley last week. The team's now seeing or trying to take advantage of on the inside of that defensive line for the Dragons.
Actually kind of crazy, Josh, because that second down pass play we didn't even see coming. We weren't even ready coming out of the break right there. It was a deep ball. So it's a good job by this Olathe East team to kind of mix things up and get these guys off kilter.
First down and 10 now from the Dragon 35. They go with the I formation and a wing back once again. First man through, gets the ball, and it's a gain of about 4 or 5 yards, and we'll call it 4 yards that time for Malik Washington, 5'10", 175-pound sophomore. So running strong there for a sophomore. Was Washington. It sets the Hawks up with a second down and 6 at the Dragon 31-yard line. They'll stick with this I formation. The wingback is off to the far side.
Kind of my time here.
Officials are going to call time. I'm not sure what's going on
I
here.
think it was equipment.
Blood, equipment, something. Dylan Jordan runs off. And L.J. Butcher runs on for the Dragons.
We'll continue the clock here as well.
There's the snap. Handoff straight ahead to Fountain. And he's going to be stopped after a gain of about 3. Jarek Butcher in there on the tackle. Bring up a third down and about a long 3 at about the Dragon 28-yard line. Got to think 4-down territory here for Olathe East.
Yeah.
As they go with the I formation once again. Quick toss to Fountain. He's got enough for the first down, ridden out of bounds inside the 25 at about the 23-yard line. They got it going with the running game.
Yeah, either outside or inside right now. Washington doing a good job. He's got to be pretty tired. He's gotten the ball quite a bit.
Well, you know, as a running back, as long as you're gaining yards, you don't feel as tired. And Fountain's been doing that. Now shotgun formation for Hunter Thomas.
Man in motion. Another one.
Here's the snap. It's going to go to Fountain again. He's wrapped up behind the line, but managed to drive forward for a gain of about 1 on the play. Bring up a second down and 9 from the Pittsburgh High 28-yard line.